Immigration update this afternoon on Kababayan, LA. What happens when your petition is denied? Sagutin po natin yan sa ating American Dream.
This American Dream segment is brought to you by Aquino & Lowe Law Firm, answering your immigration questions.
Attorney Richard Lowe will answer a question this afternoon on Kababayan, LA. Attorney, denials. How often are petitions denied?
Well, depending on the type of petition, it's not an uncommon thing for petitions to get denied.
But you're saying today that when your petition is denied, there is some kind of relief available to you still.
Absolutely. You should not throw in the towel once you get a denial. I mean, there's lots of reasons for the denial, but you can always continue to fight that.
All right, let's talk about some of the cases this afternoon. You may find yourself in a similar situation. Case number 1, we put it up on screen. Joy is a U.S. citizen. He files a petition for her husband, Jojo, who has been in the U.S. for 20 years, but has overstayed his visa. So Jojo is illegal.
Yes.
Okay, they have a rocky interview, and it's clear that the officer does not believe that they are married. Attorney, first, what do you mean rocky interview?
Well, you go to the interview, you're going to get a lot of questions. Maybe they separate you. Maybe some of the questions aren't inconsistent. You say garbage day is Tuesday. He says it's Thursday. So some of these things may give the officer pause in whether or not you're really married.
And the lawyer, when you're representing people, you are able to stay with them inside.
Absolutely.
Can you coach them? Can you talk to them?
No, it's not the lawyer's job to testify. It's the witness's it's the applicant and the beneficiary job to do that. So my job is to prepare them for that interview, but sometimes applicants don't get it right. But in any case, in this case, what happens, this petition is likely to be denied, so you're going to get a notice of intent to deny, and after you get that, and you really have to fight that, then if they still deny it, you'll get a denial, and then you'll end up on appeal for that I-130 petition. And you can still continue to fight that.
Some people, they feel very confident they can ace the interview and they can do this on their own, and then they get the notice for denial. At that point, can they still get a lawyer? Can you still help them?
Yeah, absolutely. We jump in cases like that all the time. But I would say if you go to an interview and it doesn't feel right to you, that's the time to get the attorney. Don't wait for that government notice saying they're going to deny your case. Get the attorney right when you don't feel that interview went well.
All right, and here's another situation where you need a lawyer. Joy and Jojo get interviewed a second time, and Jojo reveals that he entered the U.S. using an assumed name, which is illegal, obviously.
Yes, it's illegal. So now Jojo has a waiver problem. He files a waiver, and we're assuming the waiver gets denied. This would be a waiver for misrepresentation or fraud. Those are frequently denied at the district level. So you're going to file an appeal to the Administrative Appeals Office, which is an internal appellate unit, and those are frequently denied.
Right.
So really, this case is going to end up in immigration court, and strangely enough, this is where you want to be with this type of case, because waiver cases do very well in front of immigration judges, and you have much better success.
And obviously you need a lawyer for that. But first of all, why do people do that? Why do people enter the U.S. under assumed names?
The most frequent thing that I see in my practice is that people who have tried to apply for a visa and are denied, and then they just want to come in. So they go through a travel agency or something, and then they come in as assumed name.
Okay, so it's not uncommon. People do it.
It's not uncommon.
Okay. All right. Situation number 3. Joy dumps her husband, Jojo, after finding out about his 3 illegitimate U.S. citizen children, and falls back in love with her high school sweetheart, Manny, who's in the Philippines. She has filed a fiancé petition for him, but they haven't seen each other in 20 years. So what do you think are the chances of this case?
Well, again, this is a very difficult case, and now you're dealing with the processes at the embassy. At the embassy, you have much more limited review than you do here in the U.S. So really, if you want to have a case where you think it's going to be problematic, the best place to bring it is the U.S. But in this case, we don't have that opportunity. So really, we have to go back and make sure that we talk to the consular officer, we present our evidence as to why we believe that this is a true that they are truly going to get married, that they are in love with each other, and make our points that way. Because
this situation happens, especially now with Facebook. People, get reunited with their first love, or back in the Philippines, although you haven't seen each other, you can email each other and stuff like that, right?
Yes, and what happens as well is Filipinos come here maybe when they're young, and they still have their connections back to the Philippines, and then they go back on vacation and fall in love with the
Right.
You know, the guy
okay.
who used to work.
Let's skip situation 5. Let's go continue with the story of Joy and Manny. So Joy dumped Jojo and now is with Manny. Manny's able to come to the U.S., but after 2 years, they separate. What happens?
Well, this is the situation in a 751 where you know, he comes in on that fiancé petition, he becomes a conditional permanent resident. He has to remove those conditions after 2 years. And sometimes these do get denied because of the short time in which they're married. But these, again, you appeal these, you make sure that you put in your evidence, and you have another crack at this as well once you get into immigration court. So really you have a lot of opportunities to put your case forward. And I also believe that the difficult cases where you're removing conditions do better in front of immigration court because you actually have live witnesses who can talk to the judge and tell them that, yes, they were really married.
Right. And so that is why we need lawyers for these things, because they know better, they know the updates, they know what to do, they can give you your options, explain to you the ramifications of certain mistakes that you've done in the past, and they can help you find a solution. That's the number to call on the screen. Schedule your appointments now. Consultations with Aquino and Lowe Law Firm, Attorney Richard Lowe and Attorney Allison Aquino. Thank you so much. More power to you.
Thank you.
Sexual trafficking, very serious, but we need to talk about that. That's when we return on the show. Don't go away.